Now, before we move on, let's talk about distribution of your music. Getting this to the widest possible listeners. Now, there are various options, as I've said before. Now, although we're not covering this in the tutorials, I would just like to speak about my personal experiences. Now, there will be people out there, or maybe companies, who will promise that they will distribute your music and it will be great and it will be fantastic, and you will pay a small fee, probably hundreds of pounds, and you probably will get some studio time, some jazzy photo work and the like, but probably very little distribution of your music. It will not reach many listeners. So beware of that. It may not be as rose-coloured as they seem. Now, there are various sites on the internet. The internet's full of sites that will distribute your music, and you basically upload the stuff. There are a variety of issues as far as which audiences, what number of audiences, etc. and the like, and whether these sites are free or not. Now, the first and probably the most obvious is YouTube. YouTube will host your music. It will be free of charge, but without a fan base, you will probably not really get much listeners. You really need to develop the fan base first, or at least get it going before YouTube is of much use to you. Now, there are other sites out there which will probably give you more radio or airplay. Finding these sites is really the issue, really a difficult area. Not really much I can say about that, except for I am with a site called Jamendo. Jamendo will upload your music, and this will be free of charge. Jamendo is essentially split between users and artists. As an artist, you have full range to upload your music, to listen to via streaming, and to download any music on that site. As a user, you are able to stream and download. In fact, anybody can stream music from Jamendo. It's just that to download, you have to be a member of the site. Now, there are one or two issues that you need to be aware of. Picking the genre groupings can be quite important. You make your music visible depending on how you set these tags. So be warned, these tags are quite important. I found it fairly successful, so beware. My music is mainly blues, so if you're in the area, you're in jazz, lounge, or anything like that, be careful how you pick those tags. Hip hop and the like, again, pick your tags, but popular music such as hip hop, you should reach a fair amount of listeners. You have rights to your music at all times, sole rights. So there is no issue with you giving those rights across to Jamendo. What you have to be aware of is the license arrangements. The standard license that Jamendo has is really for your music, which, as I said, you own totally, but you give rights to others to use that music as well. They can actually use parts of their music, but they will only be able to publish under the same license. It's a kind of a shareware. So essentially, you put your music up there and people can copy your music or bits of your music and they can use it, but they can only use it under those licenses. They cannot use it for commercial use. And that goes both ways. You could do the same with others. Any large-scale copying, of course, is forbidden, but you can use other people's music under those conditions where it is not commercial. Bear that in mind. So apart from picking your genres, which is quite important, it's really up to you, really, how you use the site. You can develop playlists that people can, users can listen to. You can listen to yourself. You can develop your own playlist. You can be part of other people's playlists. You can view your stats to see how much stuff is being downloaded. you can see this over a period of time. So you can see how much is downloaded month by month, week by week, annually, the whole lot, etc. So it's quite useful and quite a good vehicle for starting out. So these are things to consider. One thing I will say is that read the terms and conditions very carefully. Most sites that you join and most things that you do on the internet, you'll just click yes. Read them carefully. Terms and conditions could make the difference between you thinking, okay, I'll upload here, or maybe I won't. There are some issues you may need to consider. And these are more related to Jamendo Pro, which is the pro side of the business. And one other thing to be concerned about is that Jamendo does not allow covers. You have rights to all of your music because your music must be original. You cannot upload covers. Any covers of any artist's music will be removed. And if you continue to do this, you may be removed from the site. So although you can copy other artists' work, parts of other artists' work, from the site under those licenses, you cannot copy other commercially released music because they come under a completely different license. The licenses of use on Jamendo, as I said, semi-shareware. They are under a kind of umbrella where you can share this music. Commercial music is not under these licenses, and you cannot do that. So therefore, if you do this and you do persist, they will probably remove your account from the site. But if you are an artist starting out, I'm assuming most of your work will be original in any case, and this will be a good vehicle. It's something to think about. You may find other sites that are more appropriate for you and do what you want, but this is one option. Now, Jamendo Pro is the pro commercial side of Jamendo. Essentially, if you sign up with Jamendo, upload music to Jamendo, you will have access to Jamendo Pro. What Jamendo Pro will do is that they will handle licenses to your music if you so wish. And this is done by a track by track, a song by song basis. So each song you can give access to Jamendo Pro to add this music to their catalogue. Now, if you allow them to add this to their catalogue, there are options that you can take. You can have an exclusivity option, which covers currently 3 years. This means that track will have to be with Jamendo for the full 3 years. In return for that, you get a bigger slice of the revenue from the sales of that license. So each track will come with a license, which if you allow them to handle it, they will add that to their catalogue. Listeners will be able to listen to this, and the clients usually that will take these licenses will be businesses such as bars, restaurants and the like that will want background music. So the genre will be quite important. Again, the tags that you use with those will be very important to make those available, but also the tags, the actual genres themselves may be important, because if we're talking about background music, genres like jazz, maybe lounge, those are probably the type of things they're really catering towards. So again, look into this and see. But once the music is uploaded and those rights are given, you can pick and choose and see how it works for you. But again, original music only, and what they will do, they will give you revenue based on the license that they sell for each of these tracks that you give them permission to use. You can have a selection of some tracks with one type of license, some with another. It's really up to you, song by song, really up to you how you do this. You will get a reward, it would be fantastic. You'll get a reward for this. But do bear in mind the type of license that you use, that you allow Jamendo to use from your music. Now, again, the terms and conditions are quite quite important. So when you do sign up to Jamendo and you do start to upload the music, again, please read the terms and conditions, because it does state what you will give away, particularly with exclusive rights. So as far as I can see, that's probably as far as we can go with distribution on Jamendo and Jamendo Pro. There are a variety of sites on the internet that will allow you to upload music to them, and they will actually handle the distribution of your music along into various stores. These will probably include Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, etc. The benefit of this is, if you have a small and growing fan base and point them to links into these stores will handle the finances of transferring money from the sales into your account. So this is a way of raising a bit of revenue. Not great necessarily for airplay, because they don't really guarantee any airplay, but they do put the music into these stores. So it's something to think about regarding distribution, and it's probably a cheaper way of doing distribution than some other alternatives. For a few dollars, they will distribute a single. Depending on the prices of the albums, it may be a formula you will need to work out, because it's not always a straight equation as to how much you're paying for a single versus an album. The two don't always add up, so you'll have to work those things out. The only other thing I would say is an absolute certainty: do read the terms and conditions. The terms and conditions are vital if you are at any point going to deal in a financial transaction regarding your music. The particular part I would be interested in is rights. Most that I've seen do allow you to keep sole rights of your music. And again, with the terms and conditions, be very careful about covers. Some will allow covers and some won't. If they allow covers, it will be your responsibility to seek permission to do these covers if they are covers of commercial music. So terms and conditions, vital. Do read this. But it's there, it's available. So your music, your choice. It's really up to you. Your choice.